Okay, have you ever really thought about what makes someone just give up? I think we all tend to assume it's just a loss of confidence. But what if, for some people, it's something much, much deeper? Today, we're diving into this really fascinating, kind of counterintuitive psychological twist where having the strongest principles can actually lead to the most fragile sense of self. It's a wild idea, so let's get into it.
So this is the central mystery we're going to try to unravel together. How is it possible that a person with a super strong moral compass, a real deep sense of duty, could be the one most likely to completely lose faith in themselves? It just doesn't seem to add up, right? Well, it turns out the data reveals a pretty startling connection.
And look, this isn't just some fringe issue. An international poll found that stopping believing in themselves is tied for the #1 reason people just abandon their goals. So this is a very human problem. But the why? Well, that's not the same for everyone. And to really understand it, we're going to need a map. And that map, the tool we're going to use to navigate all this, is a framework called spiral dynamics. It's going to help us chart the different ways people see the world and find the hidden logic behind this whole paradox of self-belief. So what even is spiral dynamics? In simple terms, it's a model that maps out these different systems of human values. Each stage has a color, they're called vMEMEs, and each one represents a totally unique worldview, what people care about, what gets them out of bed in the morning, and how they make sense of their lives. All right, so this slide here lays out the key players in our story. You've got red, which is all about power. Then there's orange, driven by achievement and success. But our focus today, the star of our show, is the blue value system. This is the one that finds meaning in order, in rules, and in a moral code. Let's dig into how this can create a really unique kind of vulnerability. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, something we're calling the blue structural collapse. This is that moment when that super strong foundation of principles can just suddenly crack, and it leads to a really profound crisis. Okay, so to get this, you really have to put yourself inside the blue worldview. For someone operating from this place, identity isn't just some internal feeling you have. No, it's built on being faithful to an external structure, a code of conduct, a set of rules, a higher purpose. Your self-worth comes directly from how well you uphold that order. And that right there, that's the key. And here it is. This is the number that unlocked this entire mystery for the researchers, plus 0.0510. Now, I know it might look small, but this is the positive correlation between that blue value system and the reason for giving up, stop believing in themselves. It's statistically significant, and believe me, it tells a huge story. So what does that little number actually mean in plain English? It means the more your identity is wrapped up in blue's values, order, duty, rules, the more likely you are to completely and totally lose your self-belief if you feel like you've broken your own code. It's not just a mistake. Your entire sense of self is on the line. And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. We are not talking about having a bad day or, a simple dip in self-esteem. For Blue, this isn't an emotional issue, it's an identity issue. It's a structural collapse. The entire architecture of who they are just dissolves. They don't just feel like they can't do something, they feel unworthy of even standing up at all. I mean, this quote from the source material just nails it. It's not disappointment, it's existential vertigo. Can you imagine that? That profound, dizzying feeling where the ground beneath your feet, the moral framework that gave your entire life meaning, just disappears. Now, to really appreciate just how unique this is to Blue, let's take a look at how it compares to other value systems. I mean, why do people with red or orange values give up? Well, as you're about to see, the reasons are strikingly different. This is just a fascinating contrast, right? The red value system has a strong correlation with feeling like the world owes them something. They give up out of a sense of entitlement. Orange, on the other hand, is all about opportunity and the future. But blue is unique. For them, the judgment is completely internal. I broke the code, so I am broken. So, okay, we know all this. What now? What's the path forward? If someone you know, or maybe even you, is going through this kind of structural collapse, how do you even begin to rebuild? This is where this insight becomes incredibly practical. And here's the absolute key takeaway. Telling someone in this state to just believe in yourself, well, it's like telling someone in the middle of an earthquake to just stand still. It doesn't work. It might even make it worse. Why? Because the problem isn't low self-esteem. It's the total loss of the scaffolding that gave them a place to stand in the first place. The way back, according to this framework, has nothing to do with empty affirmations. It's all about reconnecting to a meaningful structure. It starts with acknowledging the break, then recommitting to the principles, and finally restoring that sense of faithfulness to the system that gives life meaning. It's about rebuilding that moral architecture brick by brick. And that leaves us with this pretty provocative final thought to chew on. In a culture that is constantly shouting about self-reliance and you do you, have we completely overlooked how important structure and duty and commitment are for millions of people? When we just tell someone to believe in yourself, are we actually ignoring the very foundation of who they are? Something to think about.